Hello, my little friends. Happy Monday, and it's also a new month. We are in the month of June, and that means that we have 3 more weeks until you get to go on summer vacation, and hopefully I get to see your faces very, very soon. So since we only have 3 more weeks until school is over, we are going to push really hard on our writing in these last 3 weeks to get it as strong as we possibly can before you get ready for the first grade. So my challenge for you this week is I want every single kindergartner to include dialogue in their writing. And if you remember from my last stories, dialogue is when someone is speaking, when someone's talking. And when you want to show that someone is talking, you use something called quotation marks, which you've also seen me use in my writing before. Some of you have tried it, some of you haven't, but this week you have to use it. So you have to have someone talking in your story this week. All right, baby. So my topic for today is to tell about a time that I broke something. Jesus. Sometimes Miss Johnson can be really clumsy. I don't know. It just happens sometimes. And a time that I broke something was actually like 2 weeks ago when it was Mother's Day. I went and got my mom some flowers. It was a big surprise. And guess what? I get outside of the store and I broke the vase. Boom, right on the floor. Outside of the store, I was so upset because I had saved up my money for these really nice flowers and I broke them. So that's what I'm gonna draw about today. So I know that the first step is to write your name. Boom, already did it before you got here. So I wrote my name already. You make sure that you write your name and that it's nice and neat. Now my next step is I have to think about my picture. So I already told you what the picture is gonna be, right? Because I told you what the story is gonna be. So I know that first, when I think about what happened in my story, the first thing that I did was I went to the store and I went and I bought those flowers. So in the picture, it's gonna be me and I'm gonna be at the clerk's station and I'm gonna be getting my flowers. After that is when I'm gonna show that the flowers fell onto the floor and I broke the vase. And then I'll tell you what happens at the end. So let's just draw our pictures from the beginning first, shall we? All right, so here we go. So in my very first picture, it's when I'm buying the flowers. So I want the reader to know exactly where I am. So I'm gonna put up the sign that was in the store, and the sign said flower shop, because I buy all of my flowers from this really cute flower shop that's in my neighborhood. Now I'm going to draw the cashier. So the cashier sits at this like really, really high table up here. And the lady is so nice. Her name is Miss Lily. And she has a cute little afro. She is so cute, y'all. And look at her, she's smiling because she's so happy that she just got some money because I just bought some flowers from her, right? So she's really happy. So she has a smile on her face and she's staying here and she's got the money in her hands. And right over here is the cashier's so she's taking the money and she's putting it into her register, okay? And then down here is going to be Miss Johnson. So this is me. I'm smiling so big because my mom is gonna love these flowers. And I ran on a little errand, and sometimes when I run on an errand, I just put my hair in a little ponytail. So there's my ponytail. Of course, I'm wearing a dress. And then here are my little legs. Here are my hands. And in my hands, whoa, I am holding the beautiful flowers. They are so pretty. How good does that look? So good, right? Okay, great. So I've got my flowers. So now after I get my flowers, now I'm gonna walk to my mom's house so that I can surprise her. So I'm walking down the street and the weather is so nice. Let me draw this tree so that you know I'm outside. There's the tree. Up here, we've got the sun and the birds are chirping and it's a gorgeous day outside. The day is great. And here I am. Let me make sure my tree touches the ground. Okay. Here I am. And remember, the flowers are about to fall on the floor. So I'm not smiling. I'm actually really sad right now. So I'm not going to draw my face yet. Here's my dress. Here are my legs. My hands are up like this. My mouth is open. And the tears are just streaming down my face because I just spent my money on the flowers and now the flowers they're all gone. And if you look down here on the floor, these are all of the flowers. Look at them. The flowers that were once in my hand and I was so happy. Look at me now. Flowers are on the ground. It was tragic. It was awful. So up here, I'm still outside. So here's this tree. Can you still see me? You can't still see me. Just look at my hands. Look at me drawing. There's the tree. There are the birds. Here's the sun. And here I am right over here. So I'm going to draw myself. And I'm smiling. And wait until you see why I'm smiling. I'm smiling. Guys, guess who saved the day? Miss Lily saved the day. So look, Miss Lily comes because she sees me out of the window and she saw that I dropped my flowers. And guys, she brought me a brand new vase of flowers. Look at these new flowers, guys. And then blah, 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 blah. Here are the old flowers on the floor. But Miss Lily brought me new flowers, guys. How awesome. All right. So I've got my pictures down. Now it's time to get to the juicy stuff. I have to actually write the story. All right, let me go to my song. Here I go. Catchy opening. Pull the reader in. Have you ever... No, I did that last week. Breaking a new gift. I don't like that. Breaking a gift is the worst. That's the one I like. Breaking a gift is the worst. Here I go. Brr, brr, brr. What two letters? Brr. B-R, yes. Breaking, ing is I-N-G. Breaking a gift. Breaking a gift is the worst. Exclamation mark, this is a big deal. Catchy opening, pull your reader in. Setting tells us where and when. On a spring morning, I walked to the flower shop to buy my mom a present. On a spring morning, I walked to the flower shop to buy my mom a present. On. That's a sight word. On a spring spur. That's S-P-R. I-N-G. Yes. On a spring morning. There's ing again. See, look, we've got ing in spring. We've got ing in morning. These ings are everywhere. On a spring morning, comma, I walked, A-L-K says awk, and if I want to say walked, meaning I did it already, I'm going to add an ED at the end. On a spring morning, I walked to the, which is also a sight word, full, which two letters make full? F-L. Full, ow, which two letters make ow? O-W, and then E-R, yes. All right, I forgot where I was. On a spring morning, I walked to the flower shop for a present for My. How do I spell my? That's a sight word. My. How do I spell my? Yes, M-Y, my. For my mom. Boom. Period. That's the beginning. Now, I'm going to go to what happened in the middle, okay? I'm actually going to switch colors. When you're at home, you don't need to switch your colors, okay? I'm just switching my colors for you so that you can kind of see there's the beginning, there's the middle, and there's the end, okay? So I'm going to switch to this green marker to go into the middle of my story. As I walked home, I was so excited to give her the flowers because I want to tell the reader like how I was feeling when I left that shop. As I walked home, I was so excited to give her the flowers. Okay, here I go. As, that's a sight word too. It's really easy. It's just A-S, okay? As I walked, and if I want to say add the walked, I add E-D, okay? As I walked home, comma, I, remember when I is by itself, it is an uppercase letter. I was so, how do I spell so? S-O. I was so excited to give my, M-Y, give my mom, that's M, that's O, M, to give my mom her flowers. All right, guys, here we go. We're getting to the juice. Here's a trick. Sometimes when I'm writing my stories and something big is about to happen, I like to use this phrase. It goes like this. All of a sudden, because whenever you say all of a sudden, your reader's like, what happened? So when you use all of a sudden, people know something big is about to happen. So here I go. All of a sudden, crash. No, I'm going to say, all of a sudden, the flowers fell out of my, no, not fell because they didn't fall, it slipped. All of a sudden, the flowers slipped out of my hands. All of a sudden, the flowers slipped out of my hands. This is good, this is good. All, here I go. All, which is A-L-L, all of a sudden, all of a sudden, comma, the, which is a sight word. Spell the for me. T, what's next? H, what's next? E, yes. All of a sudden, the flowers slipped. That's S-L. That's the letter I. Slipped out of my hands. Exclamation mark. But I've got to tell the reader how I'm feeling. I'm so sad. But if I just say the flower slipped out of my hand, I was so sad, that sounds boring. I want to tell the reader that I was messed up. I'm going to say, I couldn't stop crying because look at those tears coming down my eyes. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't. Could, O-U-L-D, couldn't, that's S-T. That's the letter O. Stop, that's the letter P, yes. I couldn't stop crying! Exclamation mark! Oh. Okay, now we're gonna go to the end of our story. So remember, at the end of our story, who comes and helps me out? Miss Lily. Miss Lily comes with the brand new flowers, and Miss Lily is able to save the day. So now I'm going to wrap up my story so that the reader knows that the day was not completely ruined because Miss Lily came and saved the day. So I want to tell my reader that that's what happened. So now I'm switching black to a blue marker. The beginning is in blue. The middle is in green, and the ending is going to be back in blue. So I'm just going to tell them. Then the flower lady saved the day. I'm just going to say it because that's what happened. All right, here I go. Then, this is also a sight word. Which two letters make th? Yep, TH. Is the letter E. Then, comma, the flower lady saved the day. Period. Okay, now remember, our challenge for today is to add in quotation marks so that we can see someone is speaking. So I am going to add in the quotation marks right here for Miss Lily. And you know, the best thing about like sometimes older people is they just make you feel so warm and they make you feel so safe. And that's what Miss Lily did. She was an older lady. So Miss Lily says, "Don't cry, baby." That's what she said. She said it just like that. So I'm going to put it in my story. "Don't cry, baby." That's what she said to me. And it made me feel so much better when she gave me the flowers. So I'm going to say, "Don't cry, baby," Miss Lily said as she gave me new flowers. Now remember, when someone is speaking, what do I have to use? What are these things called? Quotation marks. Say it, go. Again, go. Yes, quotation marks, and they look like this. So you have to hug the words that the person is actually speaking, okay? So I'm going to use my quotation marks, and I'm going to have it hug it. You see how that looks right there? Right, just like that. That's called a quotation mark. So the first word that Miss Lily says is don't. She says, "Don't cry, baby. Don't cry, baby." And since that's the last word that Miss Lily said, I'm going to close it with other quotation marks because the quotation marks are going to hug the word that the person was actually speaking, okay? "Don't cry, baby," comma, Miss Lily said as she gave. All right, we're running out of space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paper. I'm going to move it over. And I'm going to bring our new paper over. All right, here we go. Miss Lily said as she gave me new flowers. So remember in the middle when I said I couldn't stop crying? I'm going to say that again, but this time I'm going to say I couldn't stop smiling because like I just couldn't believe that she did that for me. So let me move over so that you can see. Let me pick this up a little bit. All right, here I go. I couldn't stop smiling. I couldn't stop smiling. ING again, exclamation mark. And then my final sentence is, Mother's Day wasn't ruined after all. So here I go. Mother of that's that TH. Mother's Day, and I know A because AY says A. Mother's Day wasn't ruined after, which is a sight word, after, which is the ER. Mother's Day wasn't ruined after all. The end. All right, babies, let's read through the whole story again, all right? I'm gonna scoop myself back a little bit, and let's start from the top. Here we go. Breaking a gift is the worst. On a spring morning, I walked to the flower shop for a present for my mom. You still listening? As I walked home, I was so excited to give my mom her flowers. All of a sudden, that means that something is about to go down, okay? Maybe you can use all of a sudden in your work today. Where was I? Here I go. All of a sudden, the flowers slipped out of my hands. I couldn't stop crying. Now here's the middle. Then the flower lady saved the day. I put a period here. I'm going to change my mind. I actually want this to be an exclamation mark. Don't cry, baby, Miss Lily said as she gave me new flowers. I couldn't stop smiling. Mother's Day wasn't ruined after all. Guys, there were two things that I did in this story that I want you to do in your story. The first thing is I want to make sure that someone is speaking in your story today, okay? And for the whole week, I want you to have people speaking in your story. And in order for people to speak, you have to use these things. What are they called? Who remembers? Anyone? Quotation marks. Say it, go. Good. I want you to use quotation marks. And in my story, I use that really cool phrase, all of a sudden. Maybe you'll be able to use all of a sudden in your story as well. Friends, I love you and I miss you and I can't wait to see you. And when you go back to your seat, you are going to write about a time that you saved the day. So in my story, Miss Lily saved my day. Was there a time that you saved someone's day? I want you to think about it. Write about a time that you saved the day. And I cannot wait to read your juicy, juicy stories. Mwah! I love you. I miss you. Please listen to your parents and don't drive them crazy. And I can't wait to see you soon. Happy writing, guys.